Hello and welcome back to Total Football Analysis's live coverage of the Premier League. I'm your commentator, Harry Symeou, and I'm delighted to be joined once again by two of Total Football Analysis's finest analysts. First of all, welcome back to the programme, Lee Scott. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, Harry. Thanks. How are you?
Not too bad, my friend, not too bad. And also joining us is Cam Meighan, another one of Total Football Analysis's finest. And Cam is a Liverpool man, so you're going to be a little bit more nervous than us two, I guess, during this one, Cam.
Yeah, I mate. A bit more nervous than usual. Obviously, a different kind of scenario for the Merseyside Derby.
Indeed, it is a very different scenario, isn't it? Of course, Liverpool have been very, very dominant in this fixture. Throughout the Premier League era in total, they've won 24 of the 56 games played between these two sides. There's been 23 draws, and Everton have won on just 9 occasions. The last one coming 10 years ago now, which is crazy when you think about it. Let's go through the two starting 11s, and I'll get your take on both of those. Cam, I'm going to leave Liverpool to you. But I'm going to start with you, Lee, on Everton, given that you're the neutral in this, as am I. Let's go through Everton's side. It is, of course, Jordan Pickford in goal. Seamus Coleman, Yerry Mina, Michael Keane and Lucas Digne are the back four. It's a midfield trio of Abdoulaye Doucouré, Alan and Andre Gomez. And then James Rodriguez and Richarlison will provide support to Dominic Calvert-Lewin up top. There were a few injury doubts, weren't there, Lee, for Everton? So they'll be delighted to have some of their big players in there. What stands out to you in this side, and how impressed have you been with them in the opening weeks of this season?
I think it's fair to say that I've been really impressed with them since the start of the season. I think that we're seeing a more coherent Everton side than we have in a long time, to be perfectly honest. I think we're finally seeing a side that Carlo Ancelotti is able to use in the way that he wants to more than anything else. And yes, there's a lot of onus being put in the signings of James, of Alan, of Doucouré. All of those have been key signings because the centre of the park was a real issue for them last season, the season before as well. That they were just too soft. There was very little ball progression, very little of joined up thinking, if you like, in the way they recruited for those positions beforehand. But now we're seeing this Everton side really start to click. And although it's a 4-3-3 on paper, it won't look anything like that. You'll see James come inside into the 10 position. Richarlison will play from the left, but very much look to link up with Calvert-Lewin in attack. And then that opens up space that Lucas Digne, in particular, from left back, will look to attack forward into. I think if there is one weak spot, I think it's a defensive triangle for Everton. Yerry Mina and his defensive partner Michael Keane are very good, serviceable Premier League players, but they're not top tier. And certainly Jordan Pickford's had a difficult time in recent matches, so I think that'll be an area of the pitch that Liverpool look to exploit. But going forward, I'm excited to see Everton today.
Indeed, I think we're all very excited for this Merseyside derby. There's over 200 of you watching us at the moment across the multiple platforms. So whichever platform you are joining us from, make sure you hit that like button. It is so important in terms of getting the stream out to as many people as possible. So please give us a helping hand there. Cam, let's move on to the Liverpool side. Of course, Sadio Mane is back. Joel Matip is back in the heart of the defence. Looking at that side, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm quite happy with the team. Actually, it's been a while since Joel Matip's been fit and ready to actually play. As a player, I do actually still prefer him over Joe Gomez. I think Joe Gomez is sometimes just still a little bit error prone and still shows some of that lack of experience compared to Matip. I think Matip on the ball as well is really good. Every now and again, you'll see him with his big giraffe long legs try and dribble out. Usually gets fouled for it as well. But as far as the team news goes, it's just pretty much always the midfield. That's the interesting part of Liverpool. Obviously, new sign Thiago starts, Fabinho and Jordan Henderson. I'm a bit sad that Naby Keita wasn't available for this game. I think we covered the Arsenal game and he had a really good game.
He
just
did
operating
indeed.
that half space, found the space the whole game. And I think Everton are going to be. I don't think they'll be right at us. I don't think they'll press us really high. So I think a player who can kind of operate between those lines would have been quite important. So it'll be interesting to see how those three midfielders kind of assign those roles amongst them, because Thiago isn't a player who's going to probably get in behind. He'll play the pass that gets someone in behind, but he's not going to be in an advanced position, I don't think. But we might see something different in this game.
For sure. We're seeing the two teams now getting ready to take to the field. Of course, Everton in the tunnel, but Liverpool having to come from a temporary dressing room. You can see them just in the corner of the stadium there. It's not ideal, is it, the scenario at the moment, but we're fortunate that given the kind of numbers around coronavirus are on the rise again, that we're still carrying on, and there have been some absences in recent weeks as a result of positive tests, but both sides are at pretty much full tilt here, full strength here, Lee. How do you see this one going?
I think it'll be an interesting game more than anything else. I think that we should reference the fact that in the last match day, of course, Liverpool lost extremely heavily to Aston Villa, and what was interesting for me in that match was the way that Aston Villa looked to overload the Liverpool right back position. So they essentially stopped Trent Alexander-Arnold from being able to progress the ball by having Jack Grealish move over to that side kind of constantly in high positions, preventing Alexander-Arnold from getting forward. I think in that match, obviously, they were missing Thiago, which is their second option, or perhaps now their first option in terms of progressing the ball in the centre of the park. So it'll be interesting to see whether Richarlison looks to do the same thing and just hang on that side of the pitch to try and keep Trent Alexander-Arnold from being a factor in the attacking phase for Liverpool. But now Liverpool have the option to progress through the midfield with Thiago. It'll be interesting to see just how much they rely on that, because obviously what we've seen so far from Thiago in a Liverpool shirt has been sensational, to be perfectly honest. The way that he's able to dictate the game is just what we thought we would see when they were linked to signing him. I think that the tactical battle will be played in that side of the pitch more than anything else.
Interesting stuff. Let's say, for those of you just joining us, because there are now over 400 of you watching us live, which is incredible. A big hello to every single one of you. For those of you joining us a little bit late, just going to quickly take you through the two starting 11s once more. For the home side, it's Jordan Pickford in goal, Seamus Coleman, Yerry Mina, Michael Keane and Lucas Digne. Abdoulaye Doucouré, Alan and Andre Gomez make up the midfield, with James Rodriguez, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison up top. For Liverpool, it's a very similar shape, pretty much the same shape, but it's Adrian in goal, of course. No Alisson, he remains sidelined. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk and Andrew Robertson make up the defence. Thiago Alcantara, Fabinho and Jordan Henderson are in the middle, with Mane on the left, Salah on the right, and of course Roberto Firmino, as usual, leading the line for Liverpool. We're just about ready to get underway. Both sides on the field. Liverpool, of course, in their traditional all red, Everton in their blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks. There's Dominic Calvert-Lewin on your screens. He's been in fine form. Cam, is he somebody that you're worried about?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's hard not to be with the start he's had. Obviously, Joel Matip, I said I do rate him, but it's his first game for a while. So he's going to have to be sharp up against a striker who's in red hot form, basically.
Indeed. Carlo Ancelotti there. He's getting ready. His team have got a perfect record in the Premier League this season. Jurgen Klopp's side, of course, suffered that heavy defeat at Aston Villa just in the last fixture. I was going to say last weekend, forgetting there was, of course, an international break. But we're back. Premier League action is back. This is the first game we're bringing you this weekend on Total Football Analysis. We'll be bringing you Leeds United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers on Monday, so very much looking forward to that as well. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to whichever channel it is you're watching us on, if you haven't already, for free. The numbers are climbing up like crazy. We're on 650 viewers at the moment live, which is incredible, not to mention those of you who are going to be tuning in later on. So thank you all so much for your continued support. Jordan Henderson in the centre circle as Liverpool prepare to get us underway here at Goodison Park. An empty Goodison Park, of course, as the players take to the knee in support of the Black Lives Matter campaign. Here we go. We're underway at Goodison Park. It's Everton versus Liverpool in the Merseyside Derby. Liverpool attacking from left to right as you look at your screens. Everton, of course, from right to left. Here's Virgil van Dijk with a long diagonal ball out to the right-hand side where Trent Alexander-Arnold will pick it up. He puts an early ball into the box. Michael Keane had to be alert there. Here's Digne under pressure from Salah. Ball comes back, but Digne heads clear once again. Here's Calvert-Lewin. James Rodriguez just caught a little bit late there. How impressed have you been with James, Lee? He's been excellent, hasn't he? There were question marks.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of question marks, but not to do with his quality as a player, more to do with exactly why he hasn't been able to string together a long run of appearances in recent seasons. I think that we've already seen his undoubted quality, and what I've really enjoyed is his understanding that he's developed to look at Digne out on the left-hand side, look for him to play those lofted passes that release the left back time and time again.
He's been certainly impressive since he came to the Premier League. Cam, what are your thoughts on the goalkeeping situation at Liverpool? Of course, Adrian is in between the sticks again. He's not been at his best. I don't think he's ever been at his best, really, since he joined Liverpool even. But it is an area of concern, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he did have a few good games when he first joined us. Just make a couple of just flash saves every now and again, but he's never been reliable enough. And to be honest, he has cost us games at times. So I think back to against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, where he more or less just kicked the ball to them to then go and score their vital away goal, which just changed the whole tie. So I would have maybe liked to have seen us try and get somebody just in as a backup, but hopefully Alisson's not going to remain injured for many parts of the season.
Here's Robertson inside the box, cuts it back. Sadio Mane opens the scoring for Liverpool. Just 2 minutes on the clock, and Liverpool lead in the Merseyside Derby. It's Sadio Mane returning to the side, and there we are. First goal of the game. It didn't take long, did it, Lee?
It certainly didn't. A good start for Liverpool. That goes without saying, really. But they got a little bit lucky with that goal. The diagonal pass, I think, was meant for Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane nearly got on the end of it. He just misses the ball, and it just drops to Andy Robertson, who's coming in from that left-hand side. As you can see here on your screens, he's able to cut back through the defender, poor from Seamus Coleman, but Mane is completely unmarked in the penalty area. You can't leave a striker with the ability in front of goal of Sadio Mane with no player close enough to make a challenge on him in the penalty area. That was poor from Everton, and already we've seen their defensive problems that they do still have.
Perfect start for Jurgen Klopp's side. Sadio Mane finishing that into the roof of the net. Cam, you must be delighted with the start.
Yeah, excellent goal. Just comes from pressing high, winning the ball back with the usual shape. And then you see, I think it just goes over the fullback's head and gets over to Andy Robertson. And then, like Lee said, from Everton's point of view, it's a poor goal to concede. The space between that midfield and defence just doesn't really monitor Sadio Mane. Yerry Mina stands to block the cross, and nobody really reacts to Mane's movement or his massive amount of space in that area. And you just can't afford to do that.
You certainly can't. Not against an opponent like Liverpool. The Premier League champions are in front. They would have been looking at this game as maybe not the ideal fixture, having suffered that heavy defeat at Aston Villa. But if you do win a game like this, given the form that Everton have been in as well, surely it goes a long way in terms of helping them get back on track sooner rather than later. Here is Matip, long ball forward. Lee, lots of people spoke about the defeat at Villa, but people also spoke rightly so about the result that kind of Manchester City suffered against Leicester. When you see Liverpool suffer defeats like this, it's less worrying, isn't it? Because I guess as a whole, they're in far better shape. So you probably, you see it as a one-off freak result, which is exactly what it was. But
yeah, it's never going to happen again. There were so many deflected goals within that match alone. Ollie Watkins had a couple of goals that were simple tap-ins that came from pure defensive positioning. But from a Liverpool perspective, I wouldn't be concerned at all about it. Just be grateful that your closest opponents for the title also lost in the same game week, so you can just go again. Certainly nothing to worry about for me.
Van Dijk goes close there. Ball was lifted into the penalty area. He went into a clash with Jordan Pickford. Virgil van Dijk got caught there, I think, by the England goalkeeper. We're just seeing the replay. It was Fabinho's ball in towards that far post area. Van Dijk may have just been offside. He had every right to go for it, but Jordan Pickford, it's a little bit crazy from Pickford, isn't it, Lee, to go in like that? I would say that's maybe a foul.
That's. I think that Jordan Pickford's very lucky that the flag was already going up for offside. I think if that played through, it could well have been a penalty for Liverpool. He comes through with both legs raised and right into the side of Virgil-Van Dijk. But that's something that Fabinho does a lot for Liverpool. He acts as that reference point in the centre whenever he picks the ball up around the edge of the penalty area. He's got the quality, as well as being defensively solid. He's got the quality in the final third to find angles, and he likes the lofted pass to the top of the defence as well. And that was a great find to find Virgil van Dijk pulling away. He just made his move slightly too early and was offside.
Lovely ball hooked in by Fabinho, but he was just offside, Virgil van Dijk. Very fortunate to get away with that is Jordan Pickford.
It's interesting as well that at the end of the transfer window, Everton went out and got Robin Olsen from Roma. He's on the bench at the moment as their backup goalkeeper, and I think that was a move that came about because of the loss of form that we've seen really from Pickford in recent weeks, and that will have done himself no favours in terms of his confidence either.
The VAR are just checking this because if Virgil van Dijk was onside, they're looking at that as a potential foul. Well, it was a foul, but fortunately the flag had gone up. It is offside, I believe. That's what the decision that the VAR has come to. And so Everton have got away with that. Virgil van Dijk receiving treatment. Cam certainly looked a foul, didn't it? Taking the offside out of the picture.
Yeah, definitely. When I saw it, I thought, can't quite tell whose leg it is, but I thought that you might have played him onside there. But it's kind of signature Pickford, isn't it? Just coming out being a bit rash.
Yeah. Kind
of thinks afterwards by the looks of it most of the time. And it is tight, that, but yeah, obviously it's been called. So.
I think Pickford's lucky he didn't injure himself clattering into Van Dijk like that. Normally people just bounce off the Dutchman.
Yeah, indeed. Guys, unbelievable numbers today. There are over 900 of you watching us live at the moment, which is truly incredible. Big thank you to every single one of you, which means there's no excuse for us not to have 900 likes on this video. So if you haven't already, make sure that you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. This broadcast is being brought to you by totalfootballanalysis.com. Head over there for industry leading analysis from the likes of Lee, from the likes of Cam, and the rest of the fantastic team. So please head over there, subscribe as well, and enjoy the tactical insight that this excellent team provide. Here come Everton now, looking to make their mark on this game, but Alexander-Arnold will clear it upfield. Here's Richarlison now on this left-hand side for Everton. Plays it back to Michael Keane. Opens up his body and plays it square to Yerry Mina. He'll just bring the ball forward to the halfway line for Everton, but it's a loose pass. Decore busy in there as always. Helps that round the corner for Calvert-Lewin. Not sure if he just strayed offside there. The flag stayed down for now. Calvert-Lewin just checks back. You never know nowadays because they're instructed, aren't they, to leave the flag down until the last possible moment, which is...
It's infuriating, to say the least. It happens time and time again. You think that somebody's in and the flag gets raised late. This is better from Everton, though. Some more careful and considered build-up play, if you like, but they're still a little bit loose with their passes. Yerry Mina in that phase of play especially gave the ball away very cheaply into the Liverpool midfield.
Adrian smashes that clear for Liverpool. Here is Yerry Mina. Van Dijk still on the sideline. It looks like he's going to come off Virgil van Dijk because Joe Gomez is stripped and ready. Cam, how much of a blow would that be?
Yeah, I was going to say as well, as soon as he went down and he grimaced, I thought, oh God, please stay on the pitch. Obviously, he's a massive part of Liverpool's defence. And Joel Matip just coming back and not having that kind of steady figure next to him is a big blow, to be honest.
Here is Andre Gomez. Now Lucas Digne looks up, looks to see where Calvert-Lewin has positioned himself. The cross comes in, but it's gathered by Adrian with ease. He'll just take a moment, give his side a breather. Virgil van Dijk doesn't look happy, although he looks as though he's walking okay. He is going to go back to the changing room to receive some treatment, it looks like. That makeshift changing room, of course. You can see him just walking around the outside of the pitch. Here is Jordan Henderson. Thought about playing that to Robertson with his left foot, delayed slightly and went with the right instead. Robertson looking for Mane's run, but Cross comes Yerry Mina. Lee, what's your take on Yerry Mina? I look at him and at times I think he looks brilliant, but there are other times where I feel like he's a little bit suspect.
I think you summed it up perfectly there. The question around Yerry Mina has always been consistency. I think that perhaps he made the wrong choice career-wise when he moved to Barcelona. He was never going to be a player who fit the Barcelona playing style because of his lack of ability to play the ball. We saw that a few minutes ago when he gave the ball away very cheaply with a simple pass, and he misplayed it, and that's something that's a consistent part of his game. If all you're asking Yerry Mina to do is defend against his man, then he's very good and can be dominant, but in possession he's not good enough for the top tier.
For sure. Here's Richarlison in the box. Gomez getting his first touch of the game, helping that on. Here's Everton's Gomez. Delivered in by Digne. Good work from Calvert-Lewin to get across his man. You could see the Duncan Ferguson in him there, the way he just cut across his man and leaps into the air powerfully. But of course, the header was nowhere near troubling Adrian. But just a warning sign for Liverpool of what Calvert-Lewin can do aerially and how much of a threat he carries.
He's a huge threat, and it's not. People sometimes mistake somebody being tall for being good in the air, and that's not always the case, because you still have to read the flight of the ball and be able to time your leap to make the correct contact as well. Calvert-Lewin is tall, but he's so good in the air because of his timing and his ability to see the ball and his ability to make contact with the ball cleanly. He's a nightmare for defenders to mark, especially in the form that he's in at the moment.
Here is Alan to Coleman. Cam, how significant is this early goal for Liverpool? Because, of course, I know it's a very different Everton side, but last season we saw a pretty dull affair at Goodison Park where Everton essentially just battled defensively, looked to maybe hurt potentially on the counter-attack. It's so important, isn't it, that Liverpool broke the deadlock early?
Yeah, I think I said it last time against Arsenal. Liverpool's game plan's all about control of the game. They want to have possession of the ball and they want to win it back as soon as possible. And then once they've got that ball, they just need to balance the risk and reward. Obviously, with an early goal now, they don't need to commit a midfielder forward all the time, and that just gives them more security in the kind of attacking shape. So as a result, if they do lose that ball, they've got enough players behind the ball to go and win it back. And they just don't have to take as many risks just yet. Whereas you saw late on in games, they've got to kind of go for it a little bit. It does impact how they can defend.
Indeed. Just while you were speaking there, Roberto Firmino had a header at goal. Another kind of half chance, you would say, for Liverpool. Here's Robertson.
Has Thiago touched the ball yet for Liverpool?
I was literally just thinking that he's been so quiet. He's not, been the kind of the player pulling the strings as you expect when you normally watch Thiago. Very quiet so far.
But I think Doucouré is shadowing quite closely as well. Here he is now, but just as I say that, of course. But Doucouré seems to be close to him whenever Liverpool are looking to build up from the back. Doucouré is the man tasked with standing on him, if you like.
Here's Henderson on the right. Lee, you're not avoiding the Old Firm Derby score, are you? Before I spoil it.
No, I'm not.
It is currently Celtic 0, Rangers 1. Connor Goldson with the goal. So Steven Gerrard, of course, close affiliation to Liverpool Football Club. His side currently lead at Celtic Park by 1-0 in the Old Firm Derby. That's one that the fans will be missed at, isn't it, Lee?
Hugely so. It's an event more than a football match oftentimes. and unfortunately, for me, being a Scotsman, the political side of the Old Firm Derby is something that I don't like and can't support. But from a pure spectacle in terms of a game of football, you're hard-pressed to find something to match it.
Indeed. Is one of the great derbies in world football. There's no question about that. Pace of this one's just slowed down a little bit here. Liverpool just in possession comfortably. Mane looks to go in between Doucouré and Allen there. Ends up winning his team a free kick. 15 minutes on the clock. Everton 0, Liverpool 1. Sadio Mane's goal.
We saw the problem there that Everton have if Doucouré is looking to man-mark Thiago. Thiago pulled out to the wide area right in the touchline. Doucouré went with him, and Mane was able to come inside to receive that ball before being fouled. I think that's something we'll see more going forward. Thiago's a very intelligent player. If he feels like he's being man-marked, he'll just pull Doucouré all over the place and create spaces on that side for his team.
Big hello to everybody who is currently joining us via YouTube, via Facebook, via Twitter, via Hot Mic. And if you're watching us on the Chronicles of a Gooner YouTube channel as well, big hello to you guys too. If you are based in the United States, I'll be on live commentary later, around about 10 minutes before kickoff on iHeartRadio for VSIN, official EPL commentary of Manchester City versus Arsenal. Don't know if I'm looking forward to that one, to be honest. Here is Alan for Everton. Now, Yerry Mina, just happy to square it to Michael Keane. Thinks about going back to the Colombian, decides against it. Long ball forward in search of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Does really well to bring that down, Calvert-Lewin, and create the space and get a shot away. Adrian with a comfortable save in the end. I think the flag's gone up eventually against Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but really good ball control from the now England striker, but he didn't get hold of the shot.
He certainly did. Great touch, though. And that's something that we don't see talked about often enough. And it's a bit of a cliche, great touch for a big man. But he has got great control and the ability and the technique to pull that ball down. But that chance came from Liverpool's own making. They seemed happy to allow Michael Keane and Yerry Mina to have possession. They're not pressing them too heavily because they're quite happy to force those two to play long balls and make mistakes with their poor passing. They'll try to prevent the ball coming out to the full-backs because that's wherever it can be dangerous in progressing the ball. So you'll see the wide attackers press from outside to in to force the centre-halves for Everton to go long over and over again.
PW in the comments says, we need a timer to sync. There is one just over my shoulder, my friend. Have a quick look and hopefully you can sync that up with your pictures. You'll see it just over my shoulder, over my right shoulder, as you look at the screen. It's my right, your left as you're looking at it. Here is James Rodriguez for Everton. Lovely ball in towards Richarlison, just too close to Adrian, though. Just signs, Cam, that Everton are starting to create some opportunities.
Yeah, they're starting to go along a little bit, and like Lee just mentioned, it's not the Liverpool don't want that to happen. Again, they're just managing that risk of kind of maintaining their structure and just allowing Everton to play a little bit while still trying to get as much control as possible. So a few signs, but I don't think anything like Klopp will be worried about just yet.
Calvert-Lewin just got in behind there again, but it was a very, very tight angle from which he was forced to take the shot, forced to save out of Adrian, and now Everton have a corner, which James Rodriguez will deliver left-footed into the penalty area. Met by the head of Keane. It's in the back of the net. It's 1-1 at Goodison Park. Everton 1, Liverpool 1. Michael Keane with the goal. And it's a huge goal for Carlo Ancelotti's side because they're back on level terms inside 20 minutes in the Merseyside Derby League.
And for all that we talked about the fact that the central defenders for Everton may be an issue defensively for Everton, that you can't fault them from these opportunities. From set pieces, both Michael Keane and Yerry Mina are very good at attacking the ball and putting themselves into situations that the ball can find them as well. Great delivery from James Rodriguez. You see there Michael Keane just holding off Fabinho a little bit. Fabinho couldn't quite get the angle to leap in front of him to deflect the ball away. And that's good contact, but you expect more from the goalkeeper there. The ball came straight at Adrian. He got a hand on the ball, but wasn't able to deflect it away. I think that's poor from Adrian.
It is poor. When you see it again, you know, the more you see it, the more you realise that he should be keeping that out. Having got his hands there, you know, I know it's from quite close range, but Cam, as a Liverpool man, you'll be disappointed with Adrian's part in that goal, surely.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just looking back to see where the header, how he was able to basically get that header. It just looks like he leaps over Fabinho, really. It's not. I mean, I've mentioned Everton this season have been excellent from set pieces. Have already scored plenty of goals, especially from free kicks. But I think Adrian there could do better. But Liverpool you can't afford to let that header go there. I think Yerry Mina does a good job as well of just holding down Firmino as well, just to help Keane win that header. But it's not good from Liverpool.
Here come Liverpool, maybe with an opportunity to restore their lead. Here's Mo Salah on the edge of the box, onto that left foot of his, and just you could see what he tried to do. He tried to open up that left foot and maybe bend it towards the far corner, but it was a poor effort in the end. Liverpool again, though, winning the ball high up the pitch, just dispossessing Everton in the midfield area. But Lee, you hit the nail on the head when you spoke about for all the kind of negatives about the Everton centre-halves. The positive is that they're both very big at the end of the day, physical presences, aren't they?
They are, and it all comes down to good delivery as well. I mean, they've got James Rodriguez and they have Luca Digne from the other side, so set-piece delivery for Everton tends to be very, very good. They get good trajectory, good power on their crosses into the penalty area, and they make good movements. I think that Cam's right in saying that there wasn't anything particularly noteworthy in Keane's movement towards the ball. He comes from a higher position, comes back a little bit, but then just beats Fabinho more than anything else. I think that Liverpool will be upset to have conceded a goal in that manner, because they'll have been told fully in advance of the game just how dangerous Everton will be from those situations.
Here is Lucas Digne. Back to Keane. Now Yerry Mina. It's Liverpool now who are sat in their own half. Everton have possession around about the halfway line at the moment. Here's Michael Keane, the goal scorer. Liverpool have it back, though. Mane now, infield to Fabinho. He's got Richarlison hunting him down, but Liverpool maintain possession. Mane, despite having 4 Everton bodies around him, manages to do well there. Now Fabinho has it once more. Robertson's just made a move on that left-hand side. He'll receive it now. Goes back to Thiago. Has the time to look up, perhaps pick out a pass. Instead, he skips past Doucouré. Plays a ball in field, but Liverpool have won themselves a free kick. Andre Gomez penalised, and it's in a very, very dangerous position. Everton are not happy about it. They're protesting with the referee, Michael Oliver.
I think that's a difficult one for the referee to be sure of. The ball was played in by Thiago at such speed it was difficult to control, and you get the sense that the ball just came away from Mane, but it was high boot there from Andre Gomez. I think that the free kick's been given for, so I don't think there can be any question looking on it now. It'll just be a question of who takes a free kick for Liverpool. They've got a few different options, but they don't always go for the most obvious option when they have these situations.
It does feel like it is a high boot, and I get that. But it does feel like in those situations, instincts just kick in, don't they? From Andre Gomez's perspective. And, you know, he's gone to win the ball, and it doesn't look like there's any sort of malice in it. But it is part and parcel of the game. It is the rules. I always find those ones a little bit frustrating.
I mean, it was a 50-50 ball at the end of the day. It's just the fact that his foot was raised. The studs were showing as well, which I think always factors into the referee's decision. But it's one that you could have understood if they'd gone either way. So certainly no arguments for me against a free kick. But if there hadn't been a free kick, I also wouldn't have been that surprised. You can see now how many options Liverpool have and where the problems come from. They almost need to have a clear taker in these situations, but there's so many of them over the ball.
It's Alexander-Arnold to hit it. Good save from Pickford. Very, very good save from Pickford in the end. They just shifted the ball slightly to the right, changed the angle for Trent Alexander-Arnold, who bent it in towards that left-hand corner of the goal, but Jordan Pickford was equal to it, and Liverpool have themselves a corner kick as a result. It's a corner kick that Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to take. He'll deliver it right-footed, headed out by Andre Gomez, only as far as Mo Salah, though. He's forced back to Robertson under pressure from Doucouré. He's gone out for an Everton throw on that far side. Good free kick from Alexander-Arnold, Cam. Good save from Pickford too.
Yes, it's his usual kind of routine that Liverpool do, where they do just lay it off for Alexander-Arnold and Pickford as well to meet it, really.
Back Back in possession are Everton, the hosts today. Obviously went a goal behind very early on. I think it was inside just a couple of minutes. But thanks to Michael Keane, they are back on level terms in the Merseyside Derby. Here's James Rodriguez, just a loose touch from the Colombian there, allows Liverpool to regain possession. Here comes Sadio Mane, 1-on-1 with Yerry Mina. Looks to play a ball into the penalty area where Roberto Firmino and Mo Salah had taken up positions, but too much on it. And now Everton are back on the ball. Here's Andre Gomez just holding off the challenge of Mo Salah there. Lucas Digne back to Michael Keane. Lee, who do you think will be the happier with a point today?
That's a very difficult question. I think that you'd have to believe that Carlo Ancelotti would be happiest with a point from this match. I think that, yes, Everton have started very well. They're top of the table and rightly so, given the way still, this is a game against the champion, so you're going to be happy taking anything off them, I think.
Cam, can you confirm that Everton will probably be the happier with just the 1 point if it was to stay this way?
Yeah, definitely. Everton will love a point in the derby. So.
I think Carlo Ancelotti is smart enough, isn't he, to know that despite their very, very good start to the season, Everton are a million miles away still, I think, from being title contenders. Thiago just caught there by Anna.
Don't get me wrong, Everton's recruitment has been very good, but this is the first summer that really we have seen them step on towards that next level in terms of the players they're bringing in. I think that they're still a little bit away from being top tier, but the way they've been playing, you can easily make an argument for them breaking in towards top 4 towards the end of the season, and that would be a great achievement.
Free kick for Liverpool. Opportunity to get the ball in the box. Alexander-Arnold delivers. Met by the head of Yerry Mina. Thiago just going into a challenge with James Rodriguez there. Thiago came out on top physically. Here's Salah under pressure. Good pressing from Everton. They've worked very hard in the early stages, Everton, to close down certain Liverpool players when they've got in possession, haven't they?
They have been. It's been very interesting to watch them out of possession because Richarlison drops right back to form a line of 4 with the rest of the midfielders. So it's almost a 4-4-1-1 out of possession. Calvert-Lewin stays high and will press and work hard. James has more of a free roll out of possession. I think Ancelotti is quite happy to a little bit. We've seen him just kind of drift around looking for pockets of space, and then whenever to win the ball back in quick transitions, they can look to find James to spring forwards. But certainly Richarlison's work rate's really impressed me in this game. He's dropping right back and helping his midfield.
Free kick, which Everton will take. Jordan Pickford. Just taking his time. 28, nearly 29 minutes on the clock here at Goodison Park. Everton 1, Liverpool 1. Mane and Keane, the goal scorers. Here's Doucouré. It's back with Keane now. So the ball deflected his way. Doucouré just helps that round the corner, but Robertson was a little bit more alert than James Rodriguez there. Here's Sadio Mane. Seamus Coleman coming across and helping out his teammate. Here is Richarlison dropping in those kind of deeper areas, as you mentioned, Lee. It's one of the good things about Richarlison, though, isn't it? You can rely on him to put in a real shift as well as bring you sort of an attacking threat. Cam, how would you assess the opening half hour of this Merseyside derby? I know you're probably more nervous than myself or Lee would be, but what have you made of the opening half an hour and Liverpool's performance in particular?
Yeah, I think Liverpool early on got a little bit of a foothold in the game. Got a bit of just sustained possession. Didn't do much with it, but kind of got control of it. And then they'll be really disappointed to concede off a set piece. Not something they do very often. And again, it's the whole thing's about game management and obviously conceding off a set piece isn't good game management. Everton done quite well under kind of more relaxed pressure from Liverpool. Really, they haven't pressed as high as maybe I thought they would have done. They seem to maybe just be looking for certain triggers. A few times when Michael Keane's received the ball, Salah's pressed in from the right-hand side and forced them just to go that way every time. But Everton performed quite well under the pressure, and Liverpool, for me, just haven't really got going in possession yet.
It's been a bit of a stop-start game, hasn't it? Liverpool obviously lost Virgil-Van Dijk, while Everton have now lost Seamus Coleman to injury. Godfrey, summer signing, is coming on to take his place. Is he just going to slot in at right back, do you think, Lee? Looks that way. Here's Henderson. I think we just lost Lee there temporarily. Here's Salah. Into Thiago. Into Robertson. Cuts it back. Yerry Mina was there. Alexander-Arnold into the box, but Pickford will catch that with ease.
I think it's probably the best way, isn't it, to come in and make your debut, Merseyside debut. Two more Premier League games are available.
Jordan Pickford with the ball in his hands for Everton. Kick it out left-footed towards the front line where Dominic Calvert-Lewin is, just eased out of possession there by Joe Gomez. Pickford will clear once again. Cam, the tempo's really slowed down, hasn't it?
Yeah, in these games between Ancelotti and Klopp, they always seem to be like this, kind of just stifling each other, both the teams. I mean, I mentioned Liverpool's possession play hasn't really got going. I think they are struggling a few times just with having those three midfielders who all kind of like to play a similar role. So you'll see Thiago and Fabinho do like to drop in as a double pivot. And then it kind of relies on Jordan Henderson's attacking threat, which is fairly limited. He's okay, but he's not a player like Naby Keita on the ball. So I think as the game goes on, if the scoreline stays the same, we're probably likely to see maybe Takumi Minamino or just a player like that, just to get in between the lines if they need it.
Just seen Thiago fire an effort just wide of Jordan Pickford's goal. 54% of the possession has been in Liverpool's favour up until this point. For those of you who are joining us a little bit late, I will quickly run you through the two substitutes benches for Liverpool. It is Wijnaldum, Milner, Gomez, of course, is on. Curtis Jones, Takumi Minamino, Diogo Jota, and Kelleher, the substitute goalkeeper for Everton. Robin Olsen, Tom Davis, Ben Godfrey, Bernard, Alex Iwobi, Gylfi Sigurdsson, and Fabian Delph. Here's Mane again, just fires wide for Liverpool. A very similar move to the one that led to the goal. Andy Robertson down the left, pulls it back to Mane inside the penalty area. He just tries to open up that right boot and guide it into that far corner, but he sent it wide. It was well wide in the end, but a let-off for Everton. A really good opportunity for Sadio Mane. Carlo Ancelotti's side have got away with that one, no doubt about it. Here's Trent Alexander-Arnold into Henderson. Here's Mane again. Twisting, turning, brought down by Alan, wins his team a free kick.
Just going to say, if we go back to that passage of play with the Mane chance, it's much better from Liverpool. You see, Firmino kind of rotates positions with him, so he now drops into the half space. And then Mane plays the ball forward and then goes and occupies Firmino's role instead. So it's much better movement by Liverpool. And when they have that kind of offensive movement, they don't really need the midfielders to get involved. They're obviously then going to take the chances once they're creating.
Clever free kick there from Liverpool. Just while Cam was explaining that, it was chipped in by Thiago. Mo Salah was trying to get on the end of it. The ball fell to him, but there was too many bodies in the way for him to get a shot off. I think it was Ben Godfrey in the end who the ball come crashing off of. Liverpool have a corner as a result. This time it's a left-footed one. Robertson into the box. It's a poor delivery, only as far as the near post. Here's Fabinho again. Back out to the left, Robertson. Under pressure here and plays it just inside to Thiago, but the pass was a loose one. Here's James carrying it forward for Everton. Looking for Richarlison. James was caught a little bit late. He wants the free kick. He's got the free kick. He wants a yellow card as well. But it doesn't look like Michael Oliver is going to fulfill his request. Just a pull on the shirt there. I think it was from Robertson, actually, rather than Fabinho. It's a free kick for Everton just inside the Liverpool half, just slightly right of the centre circle. An opportunity to chip the ball into the penalty area if that's what they wish to do. That is what James Rodriguez does. Yerry Mina's there, heads it back across the penalty area. Mane helps it on though. Liverpool get away with that temporarily. Chance to break potentially as Thiago plays this out to Alexander-Arnold. Lovely crossfield ball towards Sadio Mane. It's just a little bit too long for him. Rodriguez does really well to get back and help out. It's a loose touch from Godfrey. And as a result, Everton have had to, well, it looked like they conceded the corner. I think they've got away with it. It's a goal kick, fortunately for Carlo Ancelotti's side. Just seeing that challenge from Pickford on Virgil-Van Dijk again. It doesn't look like it's a muscular problem, Cam, which will probably be a positive, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully it's just
impact
injury. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get the bigger picture a little bit later on in the day. I'm sure we'll hear from Liverpool with regards to what exactly the problem is with Virgil van Dijk, the problem that's seen him have to leave the Merseyside Derby early. Here is Jordan Henderson into Mane. Towards that far post. Mo Salah's just inside the box. Ball infield. Thiago lays it off. Salah shoots with the right foot. I call it a shot. It looked more like a pass back to Jordan Pickford. Really, really poor effort. I think it took him by surprise. I don't think he expected to get that back off of Thiago in that position and so quickly. He's done his best, the Egyptian, but unfortunately for Liverpool, he's not causing Jordan Pickford any problems there. Is it about just getting to half-time now, Cam, and both teams regrouping, reassessing the situation?
I think Liverpool's starting to create a few more chances now. We've seen it over the past couple of minutes, really. Getting slightly better, just getting those forwards involved. Obviously, we saw there Thiago got involved in the box, which is what we want to see more of. For Everton, I think it probably will be just about resetting and thinking how can they kind of get back to hurting Liverpool on the break or just in odd moments of the game. And yeah, Liverpool. It's a strange game, really. The tempo hasn't really got going at all. So at half time, I think Klopp will be just trying to instill that kind of tempo in them if he can, just to get out in the second half and get that goal.
We looked at this game, didn't we, in the build-up as one that we expected to be an absolute cracker. Two teams, one who have picked up maximum points, one who have been excellent for the best part of 2 years. But often these games are the ones that prove to be the cagey ones, aren't they? The ones that maybe we don't get the entertainment value that we hope, because tactically both managers are so clued up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the reverse fixture last season was obviously 0-0. Liverpool had a chance in that game as well, but both teams tactically excellent and kind of just trying to gain control of the game. And so the risks that both teams take aren't always that high.
Richarlison just going a close there while we were speaking, just sliding in, unable to reach the ball. Here's Andre Gomez inside the Everton penalty area. The flag's gone up against him, though. Just straight offside there, Andre Gomez. Wasn't able to beat Joel Matip anyway. But Andre Gomez showing some adventure in his play there, just breaking beyond the lines, getting up in support of the Everton front line. Here is Firmino. Thinks about the shot from distance, instead finds Salah. Immediately got two players around him. He shoots towards goal. It's broken to Firmino. Back across the goal. Henderson was coming in. Good defending from Everton there in the end, because Jordan Henderson looked nailed on to restore Liverpool's lead there. He's gone down. He's holding his face. I think there was a little bit of a collision there. Nothing malicious, nothing intentional, but just in their efforts to both get to the ball. Firmino cuts it across towards that near post area, and Henderson just runs into the Everton defender. Let's just have a quick look. Runs into Ben Godfrey, who turns his shoulder, and the shoulder, I guess, catches Henderson right on the face. He's down on the ground. He's back up on his feet now. But again, Liverpool threatening. Again, Godfrey having to make a last-ditch interception, last-ditch block. Not for the first time since he's come on. Certainly looks as though Liverpool are carrying the superior goal threat, doesn't it, Cam?
Yeah, and again, it's about getting those midfielders involved. So we see there, just watching it back now, it's Firmino drops in the half space this time. Salah provides the width there. So it's then Jordan Henderson's role to provide that central threat. So usually what the striker would bring. And Everton just do well there, just to put him off almost. Probably could do better with the shot in the end, but it's a difficult one.
Here is Fabinho. Looks to spray it out to the left-hand side, but the pass was met by Ben Godfrey in a blue shirt. James Rodriguez goes down under the challenge of Firmino. Brazilian a little bit over-enthusiastic about recovering the ball there for his side. Here's Abdoulaye Doucouré. Now Yerry Mina. I think we've got you back, Lee.
I think just about getting there.
No worries. As Richarlison fires towards goal, it's over. With his weaker left foot, Richarlison just receives that from James Rodriguez, turns onto his left foot. I think it took a slight deflection off of Joel Matip, but it looked like it did in the replay anyway, but it doesn't look as though the officials have picked up on it. It's going to be a Liverpool goal kick as a result. Fast approaching half-time at Goodison Park in the Merseyside Derby. Everton 1, Liverpool 1 if you're just joining us. Sadio Mane and Michael Keane with the goals so far. Here's Roberto Firmino. Henderson. Now Fabinho lays it back off to Henderson. Plays it out to the right where Alexander-Arnold will take it down. Richarlison does really well to get a foot in there and win the ball back for Everton. But they've lost it again. They're just not able to keep possession at the moment, are they, Lee?
No, Everton are really struggling to find any kind of coherent possession. I think that Liverpool's pressing is putting them off, but at the same time, Everton have been really lax in some of their passing. We've seen Andre Gomez, we've seen Allen give the ball away, and that's unusual for both those players. This is a free kick, though, in a really dangerous position for Liverpool.
James Rodriguez penalised there. He's picked up a yellow card as well. It certainly was a foul. Just on the edge of the penalty area, around the corner of the box. Yep, right on the corner of Jordan Pickford's penalty area. Probably suits a right footer, given the angle. Opportunity for Liverpool right at the end of this first half. Henderson's there. Alexander-Arnold's there. Robertson's there. Matip's forward. Is put into the penalty area, headed out by Yerry Mina. Falls to Thiago. Brilliant volley back towards goal. It looked on target. It was deflected out. And now maybe Everton can spring a counter-attack here. Doucouré physically out-muscling Mo Salah there. Does really, really well there, Doucouré. Checks back. Ball inside to Digne. It's gone out for a throw-in for Everton right up the other end of the pitch. From Liverpool going close at the other end, Everton managed to get themselves all the way back up the pitch. They've got a throw-in now. I think around about in line with the penalty spot on the left. Put out for another throw-in by Trent Alexander-Arnold. Into the 47th minute, but of course there have been 4 added on at the end of this first period. Thrown into the penalty area, met by the head of Alexander-Arnold. Here's Andre Gomez now, delivers left-footed. Adrian having to tip that over the crossbar there. Not sure Andre Gomez was trying to find the back of the net there, but he certainly had Adrian worried. It's a long throw from Digne initially, headed out by Alexander-Arnold, picked up by Andre Gomez. His curling ball into the box looked as though it might have dipped under the crossbar had Adrian not dealt with it. Here's a corner for Everton. It's where their first goal came from, a set piece from the other side though. James Rodriguez delivers in again. Headed away by Firmino, I think, but I think the linesman is signalling that that ball just curled out of play before coming back in. Here's Doucouré now. Alan, back to Doucouré. The energy levels, Lee, of Abdoulaye Doucouré are incredible, aren't they? He's all over the pitch all of the time.
Yeah, he's pretty much a prototypical box-to-box midfielder. I think sometimes he can let himself down a little bit with his final ball and that choice of where he's going to put the ball in the final third, but there's no doubting his energy, his work rate, and the intelligent positions he can take up in the field as well. We saw as well in that last phase of play before the throw-in was won by Everton that he completely overpowered Mo Salah, which isn't the easiest thing to do.
Here is Salah, plays that ball in towards Robertson, who was coming in from the left-hand side. It's gone out for a Liverpool throw-in now.
I think the issue for Everton's more with Andre Gomes at the moment. He's not really giving them anything in the attacking or the defensive phases of the game. He's not showing for the ball. He's not using the ball when he does get it. And he's not pressing and covering well enough in the defensive phase. I think that if there's a change that Carlo Ancelotti may consider at half-time, it will be Andre Gomes to come off.
Robertson puts this into the box. It's well overhit the cross. That was a real opportunity for Liverpool to get the ball into the penalty area. Half-time whistle has gone at Goodison Park. It's Everton 1, Liverpool 1. Sadio Mane opened the scoring after Andy Robertson's cutback. And then Michael Keane levelled things for Everton with a header from a Everton corner. It's 1-1 at the break. We're going to take a short pause. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Hello and welcome back to Total Football Analysis's live coverage of the Premier League. It's half-time in the Merseyside Derby. It's Everton 1, Liverpool 1. Goals from Sadio Mane and Michael Keane so far. I'm delighted to be joined by Cameron Meighan and, of course, Lee Scott. Lee, your assessment of that first period?
I think that it's been quite a disjointed first half is probably the best way to put it. Both teams obviously rocked a little bit by injuries. Virgil-Van Dijk coming to go off following that challenge from Jordan Pickford, and then towards the end of the first half, Seamus Coleman having to go off for Everton. I think that both sides have struggled to readjust to that a little bit. There's been some play that's not been the best. I think that Everton will be happy with the fact that they're on level terms at half time, given the fact they conceded so early. I think we've seen bright patches, especially from Calvert-Lewin, who's shown that he could dominate Joe Gomez, who's of course had to come on to that left-sided centre-back position for Virgil-Van Dijk. We've seen Calvert-Lewin win a couple of headers. We've seen him run the channels and make space that way as well. I think that we need to see Everton look to get James Rodriguez and Richarlison close in order to really affect play around the penalty area. From Liverpool's point of view, it's kind of as we expected, really. Maybe not the fact that they haven't been quite as incisive around the penalty areas we normally expect, but the Cam's touched on it a couple of times in the first half. They're looking to win the ball back high. They're happier for the two centre-halves of Everton to have possession because their passing's not the best, and there can be turnovers that come from poor passes played through from those areas. But they're looking to win the ball back high up towards the Everton goal and then look to spring quickly in transition, which is something that we expect to see from Liverpool. I think that Jurgen Klopp will like to see more in the second half from Thiago. He'll want to see him on the ball more around the final third, able to play those decisive passes that will break down the Everton team. But at the moment, the game could go either way, the way it's set up.
Cam, what have you made of the first period as a Liverpool man? There's no... Myself and Lee are neutral, so feel free to give us it from a Liverpool perspective.
Yeah, I think it's probably an okay first half. As it went on, we seemed to grow into the game a little bit and kind of get that positional play going a little bit. Like I mentioned, I think as the game goes on, we're more likely to see a more offensive-minded midfielder come on, so maybe Minamino. But at the moment, it's just been about how can the front three create their own chances without the midfield most of the time. Pressing-wise, they're doing well. We seem to have sat off a little bit deliberately. Roberto Firmino's role really isn't to press the centre-backs. His role is to cover the pivot or the six defensive midfielder behind him. So he seems to have kind of been given license to focus more on that role. So you see he's dropping a little bit deeper and Liverpool are pressing. It's almost in a bit of a diamond structure, really. That's the usual pressing structure that they like to use. And it's been fairly successful. Everton, I don't think, have been great in the build-up. They haven't been too inventive. They haven't tried any kind of different strategies that they have used this season. So I don't think they've dropped into a back three very often. And I did expect them to try and use a double pivot against Firmino sometimes, but I haven't really seen that yet. So like Lee said as well, it's been a bit of a stop-start, broken-up game, but hopefully it gets going in the second half.
Fingers crossed it does. Lee, we were just seeing some replays of that challenge from Pickford on Virgil-Van Dijk. Now, I know Van Dijk was offside, and so we probably shouldn't make that big a deal of the whole incident. But just the more I watch that, the more I feel like Virgil-Van Dijk is so lucky that he hasn't planted, or his leg isn't planted completely in the ground there, because the force with which Jordan Pickford comes through him, that could have led to a serious injury.
Yeah, like you, I've just been watching the replays in the still frame. They stopped the movement exactly upon the point that Pickford made contact with Virgil van Dijk, and his legs are scissored around one of Van Dijk's legs at knee level. That could have been a really, really nasty injury for Van Dijk. Luckily for Liverpool fans, we did see him walk around the edge of the pitch to leave the pitch after he was taken off for Joe Gomez. So there will be some solace in that for fans of Liverpool, because going into the start of the Champions League, he's a player they really can't do without. I think that realistically that there has to be an argument that even with the offside, you could still argue that Pickford should have been sent off for that challenge. He didn't know there was offside. The whistle hadn't gone. Pickford came out very dangerously with both legs raised off the ground and made a very dangerous tackle on a Liverpool player. I think that if that had been anywhere else on the pitch, it would certainly been a red card. I think that, of course, if there hadn't been an offside, it would have been a certain penalty with VAR. But surely VAR should take into account that Pickford wasn't aware that it was offside and he still made that dangerous tackle. I think that the Everton goalkeeper could count himself very lucky that he wasn't actually sent off.
Yeah, agreed. Don't forget, guys, this broadcast is brought to you by TotalFootballAnalysis.com. Head over to TotalFootballAnalysis.com for expert tactical insight from the likes of Lee, from the likes of Cam, and the rest of the fantastic team. You can subscribe. You can sign up for free as well, and you'll get access to, I think it's 3 free pieces of content per month. But if you do sign up, you'll get full access to the website and all the brilliant articles that come out on is it a daily basis, Lee?
Sorry, I lost you there. What was the question?
Just Total Football Analysis. The articles are going up on the daily. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have multiple articles every day, especially Monday, Tuesday tend to be the busiest day after the weekend's fixtures. You'll find all the major fixtures throughout Europe will be covered in terms of match analysis. There'll also be scout reports going up on there, tactical theory pieces, coaching pieces, where we're looking to get our podcast going properly. So there's a lot going on at the moment with the site.
Brilliant stuff. Do head over and check it out. It's a great site. Lee is one of the top dogs, as is Cam as well. So you will really enjoy their work, I'm sure, particularly if you're enjoying their insight that they are bringing you in our live watch-alongs. Don't forget, we're going to be back on Monday night with another watch-along. It's Leeds United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League. So very much looking forward to seeing Marcelo Bielsa pit his wits against Nuno Espirito Santo, two of the Premier League's strongest tacticians, I would say. So really looking forward to that one. Don't forget, whichever platform it is you are currently watching us from, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching us via Hot Mic, you can synchronize our commentary with your television pictures. But if you are watching on Facebook, YouTube or Twitter, feel free to smash that like button, share the post as well. And I think we've smashed the record today, actually, for the number of viewers. Incredible figures. So a big thanks to everybody who has joined us up until this point. The second half is just a few moments away. We don't know if there's been any changes in terms of personnel, but from a tactical perspective, Cam, do you see Jurgen Klopp making any tweaks, or will he just continue as it is and trust in the ability of his side and the quality with which he has on the pitch to go on and get this job done?
I wouldn't expect changes just yet. Klopp does tend to leave his substitutions quite late sometimes. Again, for Liverpool, it's get control of the game and start racking up those chances, start pressure cooking Everton almost, keep the pressure on them. Don't let them get any counter-attacks, so the counter-pressing structure is going to be there, and just maintain those kind of positional play things that I've been talking about. So they need depth, which comes from the centre-backs usually. They need height, which will come from a player in the half space. They need the width provided by one of the full-backs. And then the +1 player is a really important part. So that's when I talk about Minamino and players like that. You've got to find a way to overload the half space if you can. Because obviously you've got, say, Sadio Mane occupying a centre-back in the half space. You need another player then to just come in front, so then you can try and play it through if you can. So things like that. But hopefully Liverpool's, they just carry on kind of where they were just starting to get to at the end of the end of the first half. They were just starting to just create those chances. And yeah, hopefully they carry on.
Lee, you expecting anything in terms of tactical tweaks from Carlo Ancelotti, perhaps?
No, the main thing is to make sure that they get support up to Calvert-Lewin quicker. I think that we talked in the first half about Richarlison, his work rate coming back in the defensive phase to kind of cover that side of the pitch where Mo Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold and Jordan Henderson are trying to overload in the way that Cam just described. That's something that Henderson does a lot. He pulls out to the wide space to create overloads and to allow Salah and Alexander-Arnold to move inside in the half space more. I think that Richarlison working hard in that aspect has led to him not being quite as effective going forward. I think that I think we'll see the first change in terms of personnel will probably be under Gomes because he's been so off the pace for me. I think that we'll see more of Everton trying to get the ball forward in a more direct manner to try and take advantage of the fact that Calvert-Lewin seems to have the advantage over Joe Gomez, and then Everton will look to play from there. But the thing about playing Liverpool is that teams like Everton always have to be wary of the counter-attack and transition because they're so deadly. One pass can release Sadio Mane, can release Mo Salah. You can find Roberto Firmino dropping in and he can combine into the final third and then break through and overload. So as much as Everton will be still looking and thinking about 3 points, they still have to be wary of the threat of Liverpool.
We're ready to get back underway at Goodison Park. Everton kick us off for this second period. It's a long ball forward from Michael Keane to start off the half for Carlo Ancelotti's side. Let's just quickly run you through the two sides once again. There's been no changes at half-time. For Everton, it's Pickford in goal, Coleman, Mina, Keane and Digne across the backline. Abdoulaye Doucouré, Alan and Andre Gomez are their midfield, with James Rodriguez and Richarlison providing support to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. For the visitors, it's Adrian in goal, Robertson, Van Dijk, Matip and Alexander-Arnold across the backline. Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago in midfield, with Salah, Mane and Firmino up top.
And the goal that Michael Keane scored in the first half is the first goal that Everton have scored here against Liverpool for 5 years, since Romelu Lukaku got one in October of 2015. So we'll see what the second half, Steve, has in store for us here. Yeah, that alters it.
Here's Salah into Henderson. Lovely check back for Salah. Digne was just alert to it. Fabinho from range, that was always rising, and he lost his footing as he struck that. But just early signs from Liverpool. Signs of intent.
They've got that capability, though. They do so well at pushing players up to occupy the final third, and having a player like Thiago who's able to sit just in front of the defensive line between the Everton attack and midfield and find those angles and find those switches of play can be incredibly dangerous. I think we'll obviously see Thiago play a much bigger role in the second half of Liverpool.
Here is Richarlison for Everton.
Liverpool maybe a bit more cutting edge, created chances, but they're not really putting them away.
Forced all the way back in the end there. Here's Michael Keane to Yerry Mina. Left-footed ball out towards the left where he thought Richarlison was. But the Brazilian was nowhere to be found.
Again, though, you see the problems that Everton have with their build-up with Yerry Mina's distribution. That there's no way that he should be looking to play that pass. Yes, he's initially cut off a little bit, but there's still no excuse for that poor execution.
Here's Robertson coming forward for Liverpool. Back inside to Mane. Back to Robertson. Looks up. Delivers into the box towards Firmino. He'll fall to Henderson. Good effort from the former Sunderland man, but again it's off target. But again Liverpool coming forward with pace, with intent. Good delivery from Robertson. Firmino missed it. It came off the head of Keane. And Henderson just almost tried to stab that towards goal. On the half volley, it just come off his shin a little bit, I think.
Yeah, it's really interesting technique from Henderson. He is a danger from those kind of areas. He's good at picking up second balls and breaking the penalty area and good at arriving late into dangerous areas. But again, so far this half, we've seen much more intent from Liverpool compared to Everton.
Pickford with the goal kick. Firmino and Gomez underneath that. Cam, have you been encouraged by the early signs from Liverpool in this second half?
Yeah, definitely. It's like I mentioned at half-time. They came out and the tempo's already gone up. They're the only team who's created chances so far in the second half. Just got to keep on top of it now.
That's right. Keep on top of it and take the opportunities when they come along. Here is Henderson into Gomez. Here's Thiago. Wants a handball for that, but it was struck against Gomez. His hand was down by his side. Suspect if it was inside the penalty area, there'd have been stronger appeals from the Liverpool men. Here is Godfrey. James Rodriguez on the halfway line for Everton. Lovely crossfield ball. That's a wonderful delivery to Digne. Low cross into the box. There's Calvert-Lewin. Is it going to break to Richarlison? My word, that was a huge opportunity for Everton. It started from that wonderful crossfield pass from James Rodriguez. It was a good delivery from Digne, but Calvert-Lewin couldn't turn it in at the near post, Lee.
No, he definitely should have done. There should have been more contact from the now England striker. But we talked in the first half about that connection that James and Lucas Digne have. The Colombian likes to look for that pass out to the left-hand side, and Digne tends to move high quickly from full-back position. It was a great crossfield pass. You're right, the angle was perfect, trajectory was great, just dropped into Digne, and his delivery was perfect. Just that Calvert-Lewin couldn't make contact coming across the near post. Calvert-Lewin will feel like he should have done much better there. You can see he's not even picked up. Moves ahead of Joe Gomez as the ball comes in, and he's clear at the near post. All he needs to do is make a decent contact.
Adrian's done the same thing as Pickford there, really, hasn't he? Just caught him, but Calvert-Lewin didn't make much of it.
No, and I think that's just the type of character Calvert-Lewin is. He's not one who'll go down and look for anything in the penalty area. He likes to stand his ground and be physical.
Cam, a bit of a let-off there for Liverpool. Just, again, a sign that Everton can create, although they haven't done it with any real regularity in this game.
Yeah, it came initially from the Liverpool attack where they had the structure spot on. They had those two central midfielders behind the ball ready to go and press, and they recovered fairly well. And then that James ball just catches them out. I think Joe Gomez has to do more to stop Calvert-Lewin getting on that side of him. Basically, in any way he can. He's a pacey enough centre back to do that, and then Liverpool probably do get away with it. So
here's Rodriguez, Alan down to Godfrey, into Rodriguez. First touch into Alan. Rodriguez gets it back, goes back to Yerry Mina in the Everton defence. Did well to retain possession there. Rodriguez under a lot of pressure from the Liverpool players. Here's Digne coming forward, inside to Gomez. Looks for Richarlison, but that's overhit. It's going to go all the way out for a Liverpool goal kick.
Again, that's not good enough, though, from Andrew Gomes, for a player who you want to act as your distributor, if you like, in the midfield three, with Doucouré and Allen in there too. His pass was well overhit. The angle wasn't right, and the angle of his foot when he collected the ball wasn't right. Again, disappointing from Andrew Gomes.
Here's Richarlison now for Everton. Into Doucouré. Thinks about the shot, takes the shot, it's blocked, it falls to Gomez. Here's Rodriguez now. Given away by Yerry Mina again, Lee. Here come Liverpool. Jordan Henderson out to Mo Salah, just couldn't take that under control. Referee's going to pull the play back. It's Robertson and Alan there who are both down.
I wonder how much Alan's actually hurt here, or whether he's just seen an opportunity to stop the play.
Yeah. Not really sure what's happened here. It looked like Robertson kicked out at Alan, doesn't it?
There was definitely contact, but how much of it was intent, I'm not entirely sure. But I've got a funny feeling this was just a way to slow the game.
Let's see what the VAR makes of this. Michael Oliver just seeking some guidance, I think, on what actually happened here. To be fair to the referee, I think his back was turned. I think he'd already moved on to the next kind of phase of play. We'll just see now. Robertson helps it on to Henderson. Yeah, it just happens behind Michael Oliver, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing in that, though. I think Doucouré makes contact with Robertson, and Robertson stumbles, and as he's falling, his foot perhaps makes contact with Allen.
Robertson's still down. Alan is back up on his feet.
That's not a surprise.
Cam, it'd be a real concern, wouldn't it, if you lost the whole left side of your defence?
Yeah, for sure. That's usually our strongest side of the defence, really. You mentioned Aston Villa a while ago. I think they tried to get down that right side of Alexander-Arnold and Gomez, so losing that entire left side would be a blow. But I'm not sure I'm a bit behind compared to you, but he's still getting treatment for me. So
Yeah, he is back up on his feet now.
He's Scottish, he'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that. Made of tough stuff is Andrew Robertson. Is it true, Lee, that the Scottish are immune to the cold as well? Because you know sometimes when it's cold and you get smashed, it hurts that little bit more. I'd imagine your tolerance for that is higher.
Maybe slightly. Maybe slightly. My family and I were at Culloden, a famous site in Scotland, yesterday, and part of our holiday on our way home, and there were a lot of tourists who were there wrapped up for the middle of winter, and we were walking about with jumpers on, so maybe there's something in it.
Here is Michael Keane now. Into Andre Gomez. Lucas Digne now. Bringing the ball forward for Everton. Ball ends up back with the Liverpool goalkeeper. Robertson moving around quite freely at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be any issues there. I think that both players are up and moving around fine after that incident, whatever it actually was. I don't think we're still quite sure exactly what happened, but there was certainly a break in play for a little while. So
here is Mane. It's back with Everton. Doucouré does well. Here's Godfrey. Correct me if is Godfrey a centre back by trade, Lee?
He is indeed. Can also play as a 6 at a push, but I've never seen him as right back, and I've watched him quite a lot playing. So I think it was just an emergency solution for Ancelotti.
Yeah, he looks like a centre half. That's why I say that.
Yeah. He definitely is a very good centre half, and he is a player who will solve Everton's problems in terms of progressing the ball from the back because he uses the ball very well. Just obviously from a defensive standpoint, Ancelotti is quite set on Mina and Keane at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see if one of them drops out to allow Godfrey in the squad given time.
Here is Andre Gomez. Ball over the top for Digne, who's made that run forward again. Liverpool insist that's gone out. Digne says it hasn't. He puts the ball into the box anyway. He's not happy there. But it's you're seeing Andre Gomez, aren't you, moving sort of to that left-hand side to give that extra protection so that Digne can bomb forward without it being too much of an issue.
Yeah, it's just a question of balance from Everton. I mean, Godfrey won't get very high from right back, so if Andre Gomez drops into that position, then it gives Everton a little bit more structure to defend against the transitions from Liverpool.
Here come Liverpool with Robertson. Just lost his footing there, Robertson. Not sure what happened there, but it's almost as though he took his eye off the ball to look up a minute and just completely lost the flow of it. Just looks up, catch it, comes off his standing foot. Fast approaching the hour mark here at Goodison Park. Goals from Sadio Mane and Michael Keane so far.
I think from a game strategy point of view, it becomes interesting now to see which coach blinks first in terms of making a change of personnel. I think that'll tell us a lot about the individual intent from each coach for the match going forward, which one looks to make an attack and change now.
Helped on there by James Rodriguez. Here is Doucouré. Finds Calvert-Lewin on the edge of the Liverpool penalty area. Now Digne on the left. Delivers into the box. Left-footed. Met by the head of Sadio Mane, though. Here's James Rodriguez just inside the Liverpool box. Stands it up towards that far post. Matip heads it clear. Keane puts it back into the mix. Here's Rodriguez. Again, good delivery, left-footed towards that far post. Met by the head of Richarlison. It's come off the post. Everton have gone mightily close there. Real good football from the Toffees again. James Rodriguez with an excellent delivery in towards that far post area, but Richarlison couldn't turn it in.
It was the quality of the touch from James that made that chance. The ball was just cleared up towards his area. He kills the ball dead with one touch, and the delivery to the back post was fantastic. Richarlison has been extremely unlucky for the game so far this season. He's been getting into good positions, he's been making good contact with the ball, but nothing seems to be coming for him this season.
Here is Mane. Cam, another let-off. Everton are really... Well, I say another let-off. I know Liverpool have had their chances as well, but Everton, they're carrying a threat in this second half.
Yeah, and you mentioned before with which manager's going to make that first change. Every time a chance like that happens against Liverpool, it probably pushes Liverpool back a little bit in terms of do they want to kick on and try and win it. Just dents the confidence a little bit. Again, it's James' quality that makes that chance, really. Liverpool just need to get control of the game, get some more possession, and counter-press the life out of Everton, basically. Just to get control of this game, get possession, and just squash or quieten them down, basically.
Calvert-Lewin was just penalised there for almost like a... I don't even know how to describe that. He literally flew up in the air into a challenge. Here's Henderson on the edge of the box for Liverpool. Looked for Firmino, but Digne forced to just get a toe in there. Concedes a corner. Lovely ball, wasn't that, from Thiago Lee. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, and that's the quality he brings for Liverpool. Is that difference that he can make with the weight of the pass from that area. It's something the other Liverpool midfielders don't quite have. I think that's why they were so keen to bring him in.
Here comes the corner. Robertson, left-footed. Into the penalty area. Met by the head of Calvert-Lewin. Back doing his defensive job. Doing it very well. So Liverpool throw in on this near side. The left-hand side for Jurgen Klopp's side. Mane will take it to Gomez. Thiago into Henderson, who tried to just help that round the corner on for Mo Salah. Just a replay now of that Everton opportunity. Rodriguez with a lovely delivery into that far post. Richarlison just stretching, looking to keep it on target. He does manage to get it sort of on target, but it comes off the foot of the post. I think Adrian may have had the goal covered, but seeing as how poor he was for the first goal, you can't be sure that he would have made the save. Fabinho chips that in behind towards Mo Salah, but Pickford will gather it. Cam, Liverpool just a completely defensive, defensive unit when Adrian's in goal. There's just, he doesn't breed confidence into the defence the way Alisson does he?
No, we've seen in the past when Liverpool have had those kinds of goalkeepers, the effect it can have on the defensive unit. It does seem to be just more of a mental thing as well as obviously the technical quality of that Adrian has compared to Alisson. I think Alisson's distribution is also a lot better, and it gives us a better opportunity just to play with a bit more confidence from the back compared to Adrian, because he's made a few errors already this season with his feet. So it definitely changes the game a little bit, but it shouldn't have too big an effect on Liverpool, and they can't let it have too big an effect because injuries do happen, and they can't just throw points away because they do. For sure.
Carlo Ancelotti just watching on as his side continue to compete with the Premier League champions. It's a goal kick for Liverpool. Adrian thought about taking it short. He sent everybody forward now. Plays it long in the direction of Firmino, but it was Mane who came steaming across to try and get something on that. It's back with Pickford now in the Everton goal. Just takes a touch before playing it long towards Calvert-Lewin. Gomez comes out on top in that aerial duel. Here come Everton. James Rodriguez carrying the ball forward for Everton. Decides to go for goal. James Rodriguez forces a save out of Adrian down to his right-hand side. Just went for placement there, the Colombian. But you can't allow him to pick up the ball in those areas and drive towards the penalty area so freely.
No, that's where it's most dangerous, when he can come in from that right-hand side and pick up the ball centrally. His passing range, his vision, and also his ability to shoot from the edge of the area, as we just saw. He is the very strong attacking package in that sense.
Fantastic player who's made a huge difference to this Everton side. The ball's in the penalty area. It's come to Rodriguez on the edge of the box. He, just after we were singing his praises, he skies one from the edge of the box. The curse of the commentator strikes again. Not for the first time either. We were finding that a lot at the beginning, weren't we, Lee?
We were. It's just something we both had to get used to a little bit, I think.
Here is James Rodriguez again. Does well to retrieve that. The flag's gone up against. I don't think it was him. I think it was perhaps the forward who helped the ball on, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Just got caught by Liverpool's offside trap. Cam, there's been a lot of talk sort of outside of this game that Liverpool have been trying to play a higher line this season. I haven't watched them closely enough to be able to say that, I haven't watched them every single week. But is that something that Liverpool are actively looking to do? And is that partly why they've not been as defensively sound, maybe?
I think at the start of last season, we had the exact same kind of narrative come out that Liverpool were playing too high, or they were trying to catch people offside too often. But I mean, they did it pretty much all of last season. It was really successful. Again, it's just balancing that risk and reward, because I know a few pundits, things like that, say once they've tried to play offside, they should then be running back with them, because you notice Liverpool do just completely leave them. And they've obviously done a lot of work on kind of the body positioning to keep players offside. So I don't think it's a major area of concern for Liverpool, because for the most part, they do it really well. But when they don't do it well, it really does show and looks catastrophic almost. So I don't think it's a major problem. I don't think it's something that's changed too much from last season. And it was something as well they introduced because of VAR, I think. Obviously, offside's now a factual. It's not what the linesman gives.
Bit safer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's objective now. Whereas it probably wasn't with actual linesmen. So,
yeah, agreed. Sadio Mane just picked up a yellow card there while we were speaking for something that looked like it belonged in a Karate Kid movie. Just a kind of high challenge there from Mane. Just caught the Everton man. He has been booked for it though. Don't think it was anything more than that. Here is Henderson on the right-hand side. Cuts it back infield to Salah. Does well to lose his man. But Alan was alert to the Egyptians' intentions. Just going back to that point about the Liverpool defence, I was doing some work yesterday and I stumbled across the fact that up until now they've conceded more than a third of the goals that they conceded in the Premier League in total last season, which is quite incredible. I think it's 12 and they conceded 33 in total last season in the Premier League.
That'll happen when you concede 7 to Aston Villa.
Exactly. Just a quick update from the Old Firm Derby. It's Celtic 0, Rangers 2, Lee. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, not surprising. I think that Rangers have been the pick of the Scottish Premier League this season. I think Celtic have got a lot of issues that perhaps they haven't quite addressed yet. I think that Neil Lennon still has a lot of question marks over whether he's the right coach for Celtic, but certainly doesn't affect my team Aberdeen too much, so not too bothered with the result, to be honest.
Would you like to see Rangers win the division, just to kind of break it up? Because it would be the 10th in a row, wouldn't it, for Celtic if they won it this time around?
From a purely objective point of view, yes. From a subjective point of view, there's a long-standing rivalry between Aberdeen and Rangers. It goes back to Sir Alex Ferguson's time in charge at Aberdeen.
Okay.
That makes it difficult for me to say that I would like Rangers to win the league, but objectively, yeah, there'd be absolutely no harm for the Scottish game in seeing a break.
Yeah, for sure. So you're very much behind Celtic in this derby.
No, also not behind Celtic.
Ball delivered into the box there from Liverpool, but Everton do well to deal with the danger. The ball will come straight back though. Lucas Digne's clearance, not a very good one. Here is Fabinho. Henderson just goes past Gomez. Gomez gets a foot in, concedes a throw in on that far side. Liverpool's right, Everton's left. We're approaching the last 20 minutes of this. A little bit of an exchange there between Andre Gomez and Jordan Henderson. Gomez not happy with the England man there. The Liverpool captain just being ushered away by his teammates. The pair are facing up to each other once again. Gomez is marking Henderson. He's just swapped now with Alan, probably for the best. Henderson into the penalty area, but I'm not sure what on earth his intention was there, but it's gone out harmlessly for an Everton goal kick. 1-1 at the moment. 20 minutes remaining in this Merseyside derby between Carlo Ancelotti's Everton and Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. Don't forget, this watch along is brought to you by TotalFootballAnalysis.com. And if you haven't already, be sure to smash that like button on whichever platform it is you are joining us from. Incredible numbers joining us today. We're delighted to have you guys on board, and I'm sure you've enjoyed the expert analysis from Lee and Cam. Here is Trent Alexander-Arnold into Jordan Henderson now. Plays the ball into the channel for Mo Salah, but Digne able to cut it out. Gylfi Sigurdsson getting stripped and ready for the hosts.
Yeah, it'll be Andrew Gomes that comes off. There's much doubt in that. A slightly more offensive option perhaps than Sigurdsson, but he has exactly set the world alight for Everton over the last couple of seasons, so it will be interesting to see if he can in this match.
Here's Fabinho. Falls to Salah. Oh, and Liverpool are back in front. That goal came out of nowhere. Ball falls to Mo Salah on his strongest left foot, and it's that instinctive trademark Mo Salah finish once again into the far corner. Pickford with no chance, and Liverpool are back in front, Lee.
It was actually a nice piece of combination from Liverpool to release Jordan Henderson. We talked at half-time about the fact that Henderson likes to pull out to the right-hand side to provide width, and we saw that here. He's found it is a good ball in the penalty area from him. So the attempted clearance just falls straight to Mo Salah, and he doesn't even think about it. We saw this in the opening day against Leeds, a very similar type of finish, instinctive, and he just puts his left foot in the ball and right into the corner of Pickford's goal. Excellent finish from Mo Salah, and that's the difference that world-class players can have.
It's such a poor clearance, though, isn't it, from Yerry Mina? Carlo Ancelotti will be tearing his hair out. Cam, you must be delighted. The best of Mo Salah on show once again.
Yeah, brilliant finish. Like Lee said, it's just that technical quality. Liverpool do well to get the ball in that area with Jordan Henderson. And then it's just all about that quality of the finish from Salah. Just before that, I was kind of calling for Minamino to come on, because I thought we need to take a bit more risk in the attack. But now, obviously, it's paid off not bringing that kind of player on. Jordan Henderson's managed to do that job brilliantly there. So Liverpool now just try and keep on top of the game. Don't let Everton gain control. Don't start trying to sit deep. Because in my experience as a Liverpool fan, once we sit deep, it gets a bit too nervous for us.
Not long to go for Liverpool to hold on for yet another Merseyside derby victory.
And Sigurdsson has come on now for Andrew Gomes.
Everton change. Here is Roberto Firmino. Chips it infield to Robertson, helps it on. Michael Keane getting a crucial foot in there.
I think there is a change coming from Liverpool as well. I can see someone over there stripped, ready to come on.
Here is Fabinho to Trent Alexander-Arnold. We just await that change. Fabinho just dispossesses Michael Keane, drives into the box. Looks to cut it back, but his touch just let him down. He kind of lost his footing there as well, the Brazilian.
Waiting for the cross. Actually scored his 2 goals, Jota. The player is about to come on past Everton's new goalkeeper, Robin Olsen, when they played against Sweden.
Here is Calvert-Lewin for Everton. Now Rodriguez into Sigurdsson. Here's Digne. Back in field to James Rodriguez. Everton desperate for an equaliser here. Here's Alan. Helped on by Richarlison. Not sure Rodriguez anticipated that. Here is Michael Keane. Ball in towards Calvert-Lewin. Takes it down on the chest. Calvert-Lewin. It's good work from Robertson, though, to deny him from getting a shot away. Here's Digne now into the box. Thiago hooks it clear this time. Salah takes it down. Decore gets a foot in, but it's messy play at the moment. Here come Liverpool. Once again, Salah looking for Firmino, but the pass didn't have enough weight on it. Ends up back with Pickford, who just smashes it forward again. Rodriguez just urging his teammates to calm down when in possession. Here is Thiago. Good work from Alan there with Sadio Mane. Swings a boot at him in the end, and Mane still comes away with the ball. Here's Robertson. Back in field to Thiago. Out to that right-hand side where Mo Salah's waiting. Digne gets ahead to it, but Henderson picks up the loose ball. Here is the Egyptian now inside the Everton penalty area, looking to just check back onto that left foot of his. But Michael Keane was there. It's going to be a Liverpool corner as a result. You can see what Salah tried to do there, Lee. Just tried to shift back inside, didn't he, onto that left foot.
Yeah, he likes that movement back into his left boot, and why not? Because he can score from there, more than capable of scoring from there, so the options are there. It looks like, is this Curtis Jones who's perhaps going to come on for Liverpool?
Looks that way.
That'll probably be Thiago then.
Ball comes in from Alexander-Arnold, met by the head of a Liverpool man. He forces a real good save in the end out of Jordan Pickford. It was Joel Matip who got his head to that. Really, really good chance for the Reds. Just guides it towards that far corner. He's done everything right there, Joel Matip, but it's a really good save, isn't it, from Jordan Pickford?
Yeah, we can be critical of Joel Pickford and Jordan Pickford for it from time to time, but that was an excellent save. Shows his athleticism there because the ball came in with good velocity on it, but Matip put more onto the header as well. You can see him arching his back to put power on the header, and it was going into the corner of the goal before Pickford managed to spring across. And not only did he save it, he got a strong enough hand on it, he deflected the ball away from danger as well. Very good save from the Everton goalkeeper. Firmino for Jota, not Curtis Jones at all.
Certainly looked as though Curtis Jones was going to come on, though. Cam, you must be frustrated that Liverpool haven't added a third, given that opportunity that's just gone begging.
Yeah, it's a really nice piece of movement by Matip there, actually. You see he starts his run in one direction, his marker loses him, and then he changes direction. Just helps him just dismark that player. It's a good header in. It's a good save as well by Pickford. As far as Liverpool's changes are concerned now, I probably expected James Milner to come on. That tends to be what we do to kind of seal up games a little bit. I know Jota just came on now. I'm not sure if Thiago is the kind of player we want to close out the game. Like I said, James Milner is usually the kind of player who comes on in these situations just because he's that kind of industrious, hard-working midfielder who can win tackles and is reliable. So
he normally comes on to calm the game down, though, Cam, and then kicks people and gets himself booked within 5 minutes.
That summed up James Milner perfectly, I think. In the meantime, Everton have brought on Alex Iwobi, a player I know very well, actually. Let's see if he can have any sort of impact. Here's Salah from the edge of the box. Forces another save out of Pickford. An unorthodox save, I've got to say. Done the job, though. Kept the ball out of the net.
I've often thought that Iwobi would be better as an 8 rather than playing in the wide area, as he seems to have that profile where he's been typecast a little bit as a wide player, but for me, he does his best work centrally typically.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who watched Iwobi really, really closely for years and sort of watched him come through the ranks at Arsenal, he's always had that ability to carry the ball, to dribble, to beat a man, to turn in tight spaces. His ball control at times is brilliant, but he's so inconsistent. There are other days where he just looks like a completely different player, and his end product leaves a lot to be desired, whether that be a cross, a sort of final pass, or even a shot at goal. He certainly leaves a lot to be desired. Did I just see somebody napping on the Liverpool substitutes bench there? That's incredible. Looked like one of the members of staff had fallen asleep. Here is Thiago back to Gomez. Mane with a intricate flick, but not finding any of his teammates.
It's interesting. We've seen Liverpool do this before and move Mane into the 9 position from the left hand side, and obviously Jota's come on now, so Mane goes into the central position. But he's never as effective centrally as he is when he plays wide.
Digne's ball into the box. Calvert-Lewin! It's 2-2! What a goal from the England striker. Everton are back on level terms with just 10 minutes to go. That could be absolutely huge. Huge for Everton, huge for Carlo Ancelotti, and huge for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You could tell, Lee, that he's been watching some Duncan Ferguson.
I think Duncan Ferguson has done a lot of work with Calvert-Lewin in terms of his timing and ability in the air. We talked about it in the first half. Just because a player's tall doesn't automatically mean that they're good in the air. But Calvert-Lewin has the size, but he also has the ability to time and track the ball, and that's a difficult thing for strikers against central defenders. You can see here he adjusts his feet slightly just before the cross comes in, before he leaps, so he can get a leap in the right position, makes good contact, but then guides the header as well. He's not just put power on it. He's guided the ball back across the goalkeeper, just as he teaches young players to do, into the ground, across the goalkeeper, and you always have a chance. Adrian just can't spring across.
Just hangs in the air as well, doesn't he? For an eternity, which gives him the time to direct the header. And like you said, the timing was perfect. Cam, how you feeling, mate?
I mean, obviously the cross and the header's brilliant, but it's the bit before that. Jordan Henderson, the ball gets played past him way too easily into James, I think it is. And they just break the press way too easily, and you can't afford to do that. And then it's a brilliant goal by Calvert-Lewin, unfortunately.
It's interesting, but Calvert-Lewin has the same kind of ability that Cristiano Ronaldo has to hang in the air when he jumps there.
That's who it reminded me of. Oh, Liverpool have gone close again. Mane, it's going to fall to Jota. Can Mane help it in? No, it's just wide. Everton living dangerously there. Sorry to cut you, Lee, but it's all going on at Goodison Park. Salah played a ball in. Mane on the edge of the 6-yard box forces a save out of Pickford. It fell to Jota, and then he smashed it into the ground. Mane tried to help it on and steer it past the defenders on the goal line and Jordan Pickford, but he steered it wide. Everton living dangerously, Lee. My God, what a game this is turning out to be.
They certainly are. In the last 10 minutes, I think it's going to be full on, both sides looking for the win now. Obviously, they're not happy to settle for a point, and it could still go either way.
Here is Mane now for Liverpool into Salah. How frustrated will Carlo Ancelotti be if Liverpool were able to get back in front, having pegged them back twice? Salah dispossessed by James Rodriguez. He was brought down by Fabinho there, but play is allowed to continue. I think Rodriguez has stayed down on the ground. It's Richarlison now. Looks to go past Salah. Salah using his pace. It's broken to Richarlison. Pokes it into the penalty area. Just inside, but nobody was around to capitalise. James Rodriguez is still down on the ground, but with Everton not having put the ball out of play, you can't then expect Liverpool to do so, can you? Here's Jota. Robertson into the penalty area. Just over hit. Mane's not reaching it. Comes to Trent Alexander-Arnold on the far side. Player stopped. Rodriguez is furious.
I also have a feeling that he's not as hurt as he's making out there, and that was a very dangerous game for James to be playing if that's the case. because obviously Liverpool didn't stop the play. Everton were a man down, and that was a dangerous situation for them.
I mean, Fabinho does catch him on the Achilles there. He's picked up a yellow card for the challenge as well. But
There's contacts, but there's not enough contact that the player needs to stay down now and be looking for treatment, I don't think. This is something that frustrates me sometimes with footballers. And yes, their bodies are so finely tuned that any knock can potentially be dangerous. But is it really this bad? I suppose we'll see. I might be completely wrong, and he might have to come off the pitch, and that would be a blow for Everton if so.
Cam, do you think it was a harsh yellow card for Fabinho?
And probably not. I mean, it's kind of Fabinho signature challenge, really. Just try and stop that counter attack sometimes. I mean, Everton have had the fair share. I think Alan's done about 3 of them already. I'm not sure if he's been booked yet.
He has. He's just picked up a yellow card, Alan.
Yeah, so it's probably deserved. But I mean, again, Hammers has made the most of it, I think.
Here he is on the ball now. The Colombian plays the ball down the line for Richarlison. 1-on-1 with Joe Gomez on that left-hand side for Everton. Goes back to James Rodriguez. Takes a touch, sets himself, delivers into the box, but it's too close to Adrian. The obvious target, of course, being Dominic Calvert-Lewin in those situations. Here comes Robertson, just carrying the ball forward for Liverpool. Lays it off to Diogo Jota. Infield to Mane. Goes down under the challenge of Yerry Mina on the edge of the box. Liverpool have got themselves a free kick. Mina's not happy. But Michael Oliver's taken the decision that was a foul. Does put an arm into the back of Mane. Anytime you go in from behind and you make any contact, you're kind of asking for it, aren't you?
Yeah, anytime you go in and make any contact at all with your hands or your arms, you're running the risk of giving away a free kick. It's something, again, that's frustrating a lot of time about top-level football, that defenders still make those kinds of challenges. If he'd kept his arms by his side and perhaps made a little bit of contact with the body-to-body, then it might not have been a free kick.
It's a free kick again on the corner of the penalty area. Liverpool have had a few of these today. Alexander-Arnold looks poised. Will he go for goal? Will he look to pick out a teammate? He goes for goal, goes for that near post. Just curls it wide to Jordan Pickford's relief.
That angle is very, very difficult to whip the ball like that, and to find the top corner at the near post is difficult. But if any player in the Liverpool side has the technique to do it from that angle, it would be Alexander-Arnold.
Indeed, and Liverpool are preparing a change. Gini Wijnaldum is ready to enter proceedings. Just over 3 minutes of normal time left here at Goodison Park. It's Everton 2, Liverpool 2, but there will be some stoppage time. That's for sure. Pickford with the goal kick, met by the head of Thiago. Iwobi will look to bring this down. Here's James Rodriguez. Looking sharp. Plays it back to Yerry Mina, whose poor clearance actually led to Liverpool's second goal. Everton will be disappointed when they look back at the nature of that goal in particular, but they've done well to get back on level terms. There's a red card has come out here from Michael Oliver.
It's Richarlison.
And it looks as though it is going to be Richarlison. We're just waiting to see who he's going to show it to. He's got the card out of his pocket. It's got to be Richarlison, but he's still not brandished it. He's still not showed it to anyone, Michael Oliver.
That's because Richarlison isn't getting up yet.
Yeah, I didn't see that out of picture. Richarlison is staying down. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be a VAR check. There has to be. That's the whole point of having the thing. But it looked at first glance like a reckless challenge from Richarlison. Oh, it's a leg breaker. It's a horrible challenge. And I've just seen the one replay. Oh, that is a horrible challenge. I don't think you'll see a challenge as bad as that in a while. There's no doubt about it. I don't think the VAR is going to save the Brazilian here. Despite the protests. It's probably not so much of an issue losing Richarlison for the remaining minute or so, but it's about the suspension that comes with it, isn't it? That's the real problem.
Exactly, and it's also about those of us that have Richarlison in our fantasy football team and are obviously not that happy right now.
I can't remember if I've got him in mind. I didn't even look at it this week. I've had a shocker. Had a really good start and then just a couple of weekends where you forget about it and before you know it, you're playing catch-up. It is a red card for Richarlison. The Brazilian has been sent off. Cam, that was a nasty challenge, wasn't it?
Yes, a horrible challenge, to be honest. Arguably the second leg breaker of this game. But yeah, I mean, the momentum of the game as well now was ground right down. Thiago, not sure. I mean, he'd be very lucky to escape any kind of serious injury there.
Richarlison just looking at the little mark he's picked up on his arm. What is he arguing about? What is he turning around and remonstrating about? It is a nasty, nasty challenge. It is without doubt a red card, and he should just be thankful that he hasn't broken somebody's leg in the process. It's a horrible, horrible tackle. Carlo Ancelotti won't even look at him as he goes down the tunnel. How he can complain about that is beyond me. In the meantime, Liverpool have made a change. It's Fabinho for Wijnaldum. There's 5 minutes of added time. We've had about 30 seconds of that so far.
That's a strange one to go through with that substitution after Thiago's taken that knock. You'd have thought he'd have waited to see if Thiago was well enough before taking a different midfielder off.
To be fair, Thiago got up straight away, didn't he? I saw it when we were talking about Michael Oliver having the card in his hand. I did notice Thiago sort of standing alongside him. Fortunately, he was sort of unaffected by that challenge because, as you said, as we all said, a horrible, horrible challenge from Richarlison. He's got away with that. When I say he's got away with it, I mean he's got away with not breaking the guy's leg in the process. Cleared by Michael Keane. Here is Joe Gomez. Now Thiago. Lovely ball forward. Falls to Robertson. Helped on. Here's Diogo Jota. Just got in Sadio Mane's way there. A pair of them coming together rather than a defender being involved. Liverpool turning the screw at the moment, putting pressure on this Everton defence as they look for a winner. Here's Mane, cuts it back. There's Jordan Henderson. What a save from Pickford the first time, but he couldn't keep it out. Oh my word, what a way for Everton to lose it, and what a way for Liverpool to win it. It looked as though it was going to be a routine stop, Lee, from Jordan Pickford. What on earth has happened there?
I think that goal's all about the intelligence of Sadio Mane. We saw that moment just in the phase of play beforehand when he collided with Diogo Jota and went down the penalty area. He picks himself up, but then he drifts into a pocket of space just at the side of the central defenders. They're checking offside, I think.
Will he be flagged offside here? Pickford's had a mare there. Pickford has had an absolute nightmare. Having got down and got an arm to it, it's not even a good finish from Henderson. He's kind of scuffed it back across the goal. It's ended up going in the back of the net. But was Sadio Mane offside? That is the big question here. And of course, VAR are going to have a look, as they always do.
That's the question. But Mane did well to receive the ball. He puts his leg over the ball, steps over, and then bursts in behind before finding the pullback. The central defenders can't contact him. And it looks to me like he's offside. He's onside, sorry.
He looks, he does.
He doesn't look off to me.
Not to me either.
I'm sure that Cam's praying right now.
It's as tight as they come. Let's see what the officials decide.
That's going to be...
It's going to be disallowed for offside, it looks like.
That is so marginal.
No goal, offside. Sadio Mane has been adjudged to be offside in the lead up to that goal. I don't think I've seen one as close as that. No. Cam, you must be livid.
Yeah, no words. I mean, I did say offsides are objective, but has he even gained an advantage by being in that position? It's just frustrating.
I think Pickford's got a let off there as well.
Massively. He's been massively let off. Because that was poor goalkeeping from Pickford. And it's the kind of mistake that we see so often from Jordan Pickford.
Yeah.
And it's baffling how he remains, England's number one pretty much. And it just baffles me. Here is Calvert-Lewin. Can Everton spring a surprise at the end of their own as Rodriguez looks for Calvert-Lewin? Here's Salah now. Henderson down the line into Mane. To turn it infield, it will come to Alex Iwobi. Takes it down on his chest. Drives it into Alan. Here come Liverpool again. Here's Jota. Robertson making the run beyond him. Looks to play it in. It's just overhit from Jota. Pickford will let it go. Used his brain for once there. Jordan Pickford. Incredible scenes here at Goodison Park. Liverpool thought they'd won it. I think everybody thought they'd won it. But for the VAR to step in and rule Sadio Mane to have been just offside. Let's get both of you guys' man of the match. The TV channel have given it to Thiago Lee. Your man of the match based on what we've seen so far?
I think the player that's impressed me the most this match has been Calvert-Lewin. He's ran selflessly. He's competed in the air. He finished his chance well. Could have had a second if he made contact at the near post. It would be Dominic Calvert-Lewin for me.
Cam?
For me, it's a toss-up between either Sadio Mane or Jordan Henderson. I think I'll go Jordan Henderson. His role in the game, as we've mentioned throughout, has been to be that most offensive midfielder. And I think he's done it well. And I think, obviously, then he's created, I think it was the second goal. And there he should score the third goal, if not for being half a millimetre offside.
Everton have got a free kick now on this near side, the right-hand side. An opportunity for them to maybe have one last go at Adrian's goal. I spoke about the skill and the control of Alex Iwobi. Well, that's what's won Everton this free kick down in this wide position. James Rodriguez stands over it. Can Everton nick this right at the depth? Delivered in. Headed back across goal by Calvert-Lewin, but it goes into the hands of Adrian. And the final whistle has gone at Goodison Park. It's Everton 2, Liverpool 2. It started off a little bit slow, a little bit sort of uninspiring, but it turned into an absolute cracker in the end. Goals for Liverpool from Sadio Mane and Mo Salah. Keane and, of course, Calvert-Lewin for Everton. Liverpool thought they'd won it right at the death when Jordan Henderson's weak effort, I would say, found its way into the Everton goal somehow. But for Sadio Mane being a millimetre, if that, offside, it's finished 2-2 in the end. And it was another classic. And delighted to have brought you this game in association with Total Football Analysis. My thanks to Lee Scott. Lee, thank you very much, mate. How can people keep up to date with your excellent work?
The best place to find any of my work, any of my writing would be via Twitter. You can follow me at FM Analysis.
Brilliant stuff. Cam, how can people keep up to date with your stuff?
Yep, same with me on Twitter, so at Cam_Meighan.
Brilliant stuff. Right, that brings us to the end of today's broadcast. It's finished Everton 2, Liverpool 2 in the Merseyside Derby. What a game that turned out to be. We'll be back very, very soon with more. Come and join us on Monday for Leeds United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Until then, take care and stay safe. Cheers.